It's three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. He just sits there and looks pretty. This is the O-Line Committee.
Been trying to get Jeremiah to do an extreme tenors tattoo just across like the top part of his back ever since we got done watching the Netflix quarterback docuseries. Extreme tenors.
I'm not done with it yet, but man, the extreme tenors episode was that was something. You know,
it was a lot.
Extreme tenors.
Let's get it. He did it like multiple times too. Like that was the thing. Like he doubled down on it. The other thing I couldn't get over is he was like a 4-year-old. He was like my 4-year-old running around like, it's the Turduncan. It's the Turduncan. Did you know this is a Turduncan? Hey guys, did you see the Turduncan?
I can't make fun of him.
KOC's like speaking, and he's just like just munching down on this Turduncan. Oh, it's the Turduncan. Like he like couldn't get over like a 4-year-old.
Can we go back live? We want to go back live. We need more Turduncan live on NBC.
Yeah, they're like, Kirk's cutting into it.
By the way, you guys have stumbled into the O-Line Committee here, a film review session. And if you're a Jets fan, I think you're going to like this one. If you're a Packers fan, I don't know. I know some Packers fans are just kind of like ready to be done. They were ready to be done with the Aaron Rodgers era, but we'll see how this lands with Packers fans. But this is going to be all about what the Jets are getting in Aaron Rodgers. And so I've grabbed some Rodgers clips for you guys. So I'm just the idiot fan here who grabs clips and asks dumb questions to two former NFL offensive linemen. Click subscribe, click the like button. And I did grab a couple plays. This might have been like just real like bullying, cherry picking, but I wanted to find a couple plays from last year's Jets quarterbacks to kind of like, you know, show you what was happening on some of these plays last year versus what Aaron Rodgers can bring to the table. So just like your first impressions on Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets, and then we'll dive into the film.
Alex,
go ahead, Jay. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he's going to do. Finally, I mean, dude, it's so long we've been waiting to see what's going to happen. It's like a week away. I can't wait. I know. I'm excited. I'm excited because I feel like with Robert Saleh, like he's such a perfect balance for a defensive-minded coach. You know, like, hey, let me and Hackett do our thing. And I've learned through kind of being around a lot of guys now, like him and Hackett are really close, and it's a really good relationship. And it looks like they're starting to bring back a lot of the Green Bay boys that they've been with. And they're like, hey, we know how to run this thing. Like, let's do this. Robert, you do your thing on defense. The two should never cross, right, until we're celebrating. And at the end of the day, it should be fine. And I'm excited. I mean, they have a lot of good young talent, a good roster, core dudes, drafted Tippmann in the middle, Vera Tucker out there. I mean, I think they should be really good, especially because I think this is my biggest gripe, is it's been a division that's been dominated by the Patriots for so long that it's kind of nice to see other teams start to get some victories and start to get some credit and start to see them rise up a little bit, especially a team like the Jets, because I'm a big fan of Robert Saleh.
Yeah, you know, the biggest thing for me that I worry about is it going to be too much of the Rodgers show, right? Like Rodgers has been the big name in Green Bay for the last, I don't know, feels like 50 years. Right? But now he's walking into a giant market. The Jets is a big market, right? Like there's going to be a lot more reporters, a lot more stories to be written. Like, does he feed into that and does he become the Rodgers show, or does he just kind of stay with the like, I'm just here to play football, I'm just here to do my thing? Because even Tom, towards the end of his career, like they started realizing football's coming to an end. I need to start branding myself as other stuff, right? He's doing the McAfee show, like he's going down south and doing ayahuasca, right? Like there's all those things now that like, is it becoming more about the brand of Aaron Rodgers or the football? Obviously, he's still a fantastic football player. And I mean, we did the thing a couple weeks ago where it was like take Rodgers and Mahomes out of the 2-minute. Like, so he's still viewed as one of the greatest to do it. And I think that if he comes in that division, you talk about some of the young weapons they have too. Garrett Wilson's going to be on that team. If they can get Breece Hall back too, like that team's defense is championship caliber. But I really think you add Aaron Rodgers into that offense, if he can come out there and start slinging around and doing his thing, I mean, that's a championship caliber team. I'm not saying Super Bowl. I'm saying like division championship, because I think the Bills are still the top notch in the division until you tell me otherwise or show me otherwise. But the Dolphins are right there. You never know what you get the Patriots. But Aaron Rodgers coming onto anyone's team instantly makes them a contender. Like that's just how it is. You have to have an all-pro quarterback at the level if you want to contend. You bring Aaron Rodgers in, you instantly jump yourself into contender.
But I'm with you. And I am with you in a big way on the fact that does this become the Aaron Rodgers show, especially in New York? Like, not that it wasn't a New York scene every day at practice in Green Bay because everybody obviously wants to get the clips, but now you're in the big show. Like, you are in the middle of the city and everything is going to be directed towards you. Everyone's excited you're there, and how do you play that? And I think that that's going to be interesting because I don't know that he's handled that so well in the past, I will say, with the media. And it's like, dude, you're walking into a really big hornet's nest, right? Like, Adam Gase thought he was a badass until the media was like, easy, son. Easy, Bubba. Right? You think you're really tough in Green Bay. You walk into New York and you're dealing with a lot of different people. And it's kind of like, hey, man, let's just toe the line and chill out for a little bit. And let's go win some games and have some fun, right? And I hope he does that because I really do. It would be fun to see some other people kick the shit out of the Patriots for a while.
Yeah, he does get a little like in Green Bay is, there's good reporters that cover that team, but like the mass of media and the sort of the back page, like the page 2 type news. I mean, New York is digging into your life, and it's just a different microscope. And he tended to get a little. He would just kind of lash out if you pushed at him a little bit, even in Green Bay. And so if they don't start hot, you do kind of wonder. It feels like they need to start like 4-1 or something to.
Well, I mean, think about his great like relaxed speech in Green Bay, right? Like relax. That shit don't fly in New York.
No, relax,
right? Like, relax. What are you talking? Relax. What do you mean? We're paying you all this money. Blah, 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 blah. Like that stuff just doesn't fly in New York anymore. And that's either going to be fine, and he's going to let it roll off his shoulders, and but that's going to bleed into the team, right? Because now the questions, if he's saying stuff like that in the media, guess what? The questions that are now getting asked to Garrett Wilson and the questions that are now getting asked to Vera Tucker, and things like, hey, what do you think about Rodgers saying this? Instead of, hey, what do you think about the game plan? Or what do you think about this? Like, there's a scale of balance in the NFL of like, as long as your off the field stuff doesn't overweigh what you're doing on the field, you're fine. But the second that starts to tip, like, once it starts to tip a little bit, it can get interesting. So I think it's going to be interesting how the off-the-field stuff, but the on-the-field stuff, I mean, he's still doing it at an extremely high level, and that's the stuff that's going to make that whole team go.
Yeah.
You guys want to do it here? You want to dive in here?
We'll
do it.
I've been doing it, dude. Let's go. Let's just jump right back in. I did 3 hours this morning. Let's go.
Self-suck.
Wow. Yeah, you've already been just like grinding film on Zoom calls and stuff.
I'll ding myself.
Let's start with this is so the Packers made a run at the end of the season last year. Looked like they were totally cooked. They won like 4 or 5 games in a row, including this game against the Dolphins. It was a comeback in the second half. So Packers trying to tie this thing up. This is sort of halfway through the third quarter. It's a 1st and 10. I'm going to roll these clips, and then you guys have not seen the. I mean, you saw these like as they happen in the season, but I just pick plays I think are interesting as a fan. And then you guys can tell me what you actually see as former longtime NFL offensive lineman.
I mean, his arm strength is just so stupid.
Stupid.
I mean, just
stupid.
I mean, so
it's a flick. It's a 40-yard flick.
And he's 40 years old.
All right, go back real quick.
So, I mean, first of all, the running back misses the protection here.
Totally, Biff, dude.
Probably number one. They're sliding to the right here, right? So they're going to 55. They're going to go 3 for 4 on the right side there, 71.
This is a 57 front.
Yeah,
it's a bug.
It's a bug front, right? So they're going to go 3 for 4 on the right side, their man on the left. So 27's only job here is to read the linebacker over the left guard, and he totally mistakens it. But this is what makes Aaron Rodgers so special. So many young quarterbacks in this situation, even some veteran ones, are going to see this guy running at your face unblocked and panic, right? They're either going to dirt it, they're going to try and force the throw where it's not. But as soon as Aaron Rodgers feels this, right, like you can let it roll a little bit, Mackey, right? He lets him feel this, right? He sees it, he gets the snap count, and as soon as he starts feeling pressure, he immediately goes, okay, I know there's pressure here. That means it's going to be man coverage, right? So he feels that pressure right there, and he starts thinking, where's my man matchup, right? It's his deep shot. It's his deep shot.
Look at his body.
So his body's parallel to where he's throwing, and he just takes a deep shot down to his receiver. Like, that's the kind of stuff where there's no panic, there's no freaking out. He's falling away, and he just finds his one-on-one matchup and just throws it up there to, I believe, is Christian Watson, maybe?
Dude, that looks so pretty.
Dude, that's one of the more crazy
Mercedes,
throws of
that's
the
Mercedes
season. Mercedes Lewis.
Dude.
That's a tight end.
That's 80-year-old Mercedes Lewis running down the field.
Hey, Another good point to note, right? Not only who's my man, but who's the most reliable out here.
Right.
Who do I know will catch it, right? That is a very savvy thing to be able to do in the heat of the moment. It's very hard to do that, and especially like we said before, he knows the running back biffs it right there, and he's like, okay, it's time to move. Who do I trust to get the ball to, right? So many young quarterbacks right now, taking a sack. I'm already going to say they're going to take a sack, or they're going to completely run around and throw it out of bounds, or take an even worse sack. This guy's like, hey, who do I trust over here? Mercedes, I'll throw it to you. All right, here you go. Like, he makes it look so effortless. And that's what sometimes becomes hard to watch. You're like, you have everybody bearing down on him, and he's like, I'll just huck it over here a little bit.
I mean, I'll never forget in 2017, I believe it was. No, it was 2015. 2015, we were playing the Packers last game of the year up in Minnesota in Lambeau, and he had a couple Hail Marys there towards the end of the game. And one of them, he was standing on the 50, and like he was getting chased, and he launched it out the back of the end zone, and he looked over to the sideline and flexed and was like, ugh. Like, kind of like, oh, too strong, right? And it was just like, one of those, like, oh my gosh, you freaking animal, because it didn't even look like he threw it. And he literally was like, and just like walked back to the huddle and then did it again the next play. Like, he just has such a cannon for an arm. Like, he's been doing Mahomes things since before Mahomes could walk.
Oh, way
right?
before,
Like,
dude. Come on.
He just, again, like, he was scrambling, he was running. Like, him and Matthew Stafford were the first ones to really do the crazy arm angle things, right? Mahomes made it super popular, but like, if you want to go back to the origin of that kind of stuff, it's been Mahomes and Stafford since day one.
Yeah, I think like one of the things, just from sort of a fan media perspective, watching, because I went through probably like 2 hours of just Rodgers clips last night, just dicking around. You know, you watch enough football and you kind of know what something's supposed to look like. Like, oh, there's a linebacker getting through an A gap on a blitz. It's supposed to be a sack. Or the quarterback's getting flushed out this way and he's running. He's not supposed to be able to throw a ball in that direction.
Right.
Rodgers is constantly more calm in situations where he probably shouldn't be. And I guess like playing in the NFL for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Everything, like his mind, it's the Matrix out there for him, man. Like he's dodging literal bullets and he's just moving at a different speed mentally. And then just like, he doesn't look like, you wouldn't run into him and think, oh, if you didn't know football, right? You wouldn't run into him and think that's a professional. You run into Cam Newton. You run into some of these dudes. Yeah. And he's flicking the ball 45 yards, like a 90-degree angle throw across his body, momentum going the other way on a dime. By the way, nice catch by Mercedes Lewis, too. Mm-hmm. It's not terrible coverage in that situation, but crazy, you guys.
I guarantee Mercedes Lewis is a New York Jet before the year is over.
And I will say this, too, about a guy like Aaron Rodgers. He makes everybody on your team better because the demand is so high. If I throw you that goddamn ball, you better catch it. Because if you don't, you can just walk that way. I mean, I've been in the huddle with guys like that. They didn't even have to say anything. They just look at you. Go.
I mean, Peyton Manning was that way. There was times like, I talked to guys that are big. Orlando Franklin played with him. And he was like, dude, if he threw you a ball in like a walkthrough and you were a young receiver and you didn't catch it, you weren't allowed to come back and practice with him. Like, it was basically a death sentence. Yeah. Right? It was like, oh, he dropped it, get him out. This guy can't catch. Right? And then like you had to basically just wait until he forgave you and absolves you of your sins.
Or
and then
forgot.
you could come back in. But that's the kind of thing. Like when you bring in championship caliber, MVP, Super Bowl winning type players, they elevate everyone.
Yes.
Everyone, because you have to match their intensity because they're going to let you know about it, right? Like, he's not there to make friends. Aaron Rodgers did not. It's like when Brett Favre showed to Minnesota. Like, they're not here to make friends. They're there to win championships. And they're either going to bring guys along with them or just mow them over and get them out of their way. There's nothing in between.
You remember in week one. That's
another thing, too, is, hey, they will help them. Like, in that process, if somebody does get in the way, it's easy for him to be like, get him off the team. Give me another one. Give me somebody else. I want another one. Like, it's going to be – and that's why I'm telling you guys – when he steps on that field, everybody has to play better. If I throw you the ball, you have to catch it. If I hand it off to you, you better run somewhere with it. If I get hit, I'm going to be pissed. Like, you just know it's a heightened sense of, okay, now we're not with a rookie anymore. We don't get away with the old, get used to it, rook. It's a love tap. Now it's like, dude, if this jersey gets dirty at all, I'm going to be really pissed. And you're like, he means it.
I think it was week one against the Vikings. It might have been the first play of the season for the Packers. It was the first series for sure. And Christian Watson dropped it would have been a 75-yard touchdown reception from Rodgers to set the tone for the season. He dropped it. And Watson wound up he would wind up being a go-to target later on in the season. It felt like it was a month before Rodgers went back to him.
Yeah.
after he dropped that.
They don't
ball,
mess
right?
around.
They don't play. They don't play
No.
that, dude.
Don't
You're messing with my completion percentage. That's money in my pocket.
So meanwhile, let's go check in on the Jets here last year and just kind of see a lot of good pieces, right? Some good weapons,
boy.
defense. You got some offensive linemen. Let's check in and see how Zach Wilson was doing here against the Patriots on this play. I'll run this here.
Girlfriend's mom.
Banging Mom Wilson.
Right? Hey, I wonder what she was doing last night. I'm going to throw this ball in the dirt. No, I won't. I'll sit here. I'll mess with Oh, no, God. No. I'll throw it to the other team. I thought we were wearing white. We are not wearing white.
What is
This shit
happening on
would have
this play?
drove me nuts. I would have.
So first of all,
thrown my
this isn't
helmet at him.
naked, right? This
You
isn't
have
naked.
to get rid of this
There's
ball
two options.
now.
The ball is gone, or you put it in the cheap seats, right? Because you're working with half a field. Anyone who's ever played quarterback at any level understands this, right? The second you roll out past that hash, you're dealing with like a half to a quarter of the field, right?
Yeah.
And by the time you stop your feet, the ball. If you stop your feet on a naked like this, the ball just got to get put in the cheap seats. Right,
guaranteed. If the
but this
ball's
is also
not put on the run, it is in the cheap seats right now. And don't get me wrong, it's well covered.
Boom.
Like, there's nowhere to go.
Right there.
Throw it away.
Yeah, just throw it away. It's okay. You live to fight another day, right? Like this isn't a 3rd and forever. Like this was 1st and 10, if I recall, right?
Yeah,
like
it was.
but these are the kind of plays that cost you games, right? These are the drive killers. These are the things that you can't do. But also, this comes back to a little bit of the Mahomes effect. With how many times have we seen Mahomes do something like this and flip it back across his body and make something crazy and magical happen? Well, you don't think Zach Wilson watched Patrick Mahomes when he was coming through the draft cycle or when he was a senior college?
And he did some of that in college. He got away with some of that
college,
stuff,
got away
right?
with it. Everyone wants to be the next Mahomes. Why do you think the 3-point shooting is now the greatest? Like everyone wants to be the next Steph Curry, right? Like so when you get drafted, you think, oh, I can do things like Mahomes does. Like, but you can't. It's why they paid him $500 million, right? Like you have to understand, like when you get in the league, and some guys can learn that, other guys can't. I think Zach Wilson just tried to force the ball too much and do things instead of just understanding, take what they give you, live to fight another day, which is eventually what got him to lose his job.
To speak to that, like there are cardinal sins. Like Jay said, we see Patrick Mahomes at times throw across his body on a naked, which is like the cardinal sin. You never throw across the field. Remember, like we know about this. I feel like Mahomes gets away with it because he's incredible, and Aaron Rodgers could easily get away with it. But then all of a sudden you start thinking about these guys, and I think they're trying to, like Jay said, they're trying to do too much. And at times they see that throw and they try to make it, and you're like, what are you doing? And like as a player, that drives you nuts because that was 1st and 10. That's a simple play. That's like hey, we're going to get this drive started. You only run a naked to get a drive going. And it's one of those, hey, we're going to fake the zone and we're going to just roll out and throw a quick 18-yard dig route or an over route or something simple. Dude, when you're throwing interceptions on that becomes a real problem. That's like dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
That's
you can
stupid.
see like he kind of like in the background, he just kind of like harumph, kind of.
So like
slumps his
even Jay
shoulder.
said, if you stop your feet on a naked, you're done. What did you do? You're supposed to be rolling out the entire time.
You're also lucky, like there's no backside pursuit that gets you killed.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, I know exactly what play this is. This is beautiful.
Man. So now let's go back to Rodgers here. Okay, Jets fans. Okay,
Let's go back to the real football player. Let's talk about the real quarterback. Okay, I want to talk about real quarterbacks. Here we go.
By the way, this is some season on the line stuff
too,
here,
wasn't it? Wasn't this game like 5 degrees outside or something like that?
Get it?
It was definitely like early December game here
cold.
at Soldier Field. So the Packers are maybe 4 games under 500 at the time of this game, and they're down 16-3, almost halftime. It's a 4th and 4 from the 14. So you could make a case like, man, if you botch this play, you go into halftime down, two touchdowns, 4 games under 500. Season's on the line here with this play, kind of.
Total faith. Total faith.
Rotate.
Just dancing around.
I mean,
Look how calm he is in this situation.
I'm just telling you, he just dances in that pocket so sweet.
4-man front. They don't send pressure. They send
Sun in
twist,
his face.
Little twist.
right? But this is just him just keeping his eyes downfield, understanding where his matchup is. Go back to the wide copy there, Mac. Right, so he's looking across pre-snap read here. He's reading 2 high safety, right, and then they drop back, and so he sees that they're going to bracket, but he knows he has the 3 receiver side to his right. So when they run 1 shallow, they send another deep. They know that leaves Christian Watson in the slot there, 1-on-1 with the safety. Like you talk about a physical matchup, that's just going to be the one. So he goes and he just patiently waits for that. 71 Myers does a great job of creating that throwing lane too. If you go back and look,
Watch him finish him off too.
Right.
Oh,
So
it's
Myers,
amazing.
this is going back. Pass pro is not passive, right? Everyone thinks pass pro is passive. Pass pro is physical. Watch Josh Myers here, right? He's gonna take the snap here. Like Aaron's dancing, right? He's looking through a throwing lane. They run a little
punch.
TT stunt here. They pass it
Ellington
off.
switches it.
But then as Aaron's trying to figure out where to go with the ball, and he comes back across here, like he's looking through him. If Myers and is that who is that?
It's Runyon.
It's Runyon. If
Runyon knocks him on his ass.
Yeah,
Runyon.
If Munyon and
Shout out
Munyon
to Junior.
and golly, I can't speak. Runyon and Myers.
That's the University of Nebraska there.
We just get so excited.
Mush mouth. if they don't knock this down, like that throwing lane's not clear, right? He might not be able to see that. He might not be able to get back to that, right? That's a really critical key block by the guys up front there in order to help make this touchdown happen. That's also Zach Tom out there on the left side. That's a rookie playing left tackle right there in a key moment.
Destroying right now. Look at that. No.
Again, like this, it's another where like a lot of other quarterbacks, the pocket's kind of shifting. Oh, I'm holding on to the ball too long, and he's so comfortable just sitting in here and finding. And he's not like I think he's more mobile than most 39-year-old men.
Yes.
But it's not like outrun you on a 40-yard dash mobile. It's like tap dancing and strafing in a small area. And Brady was brilliant at it too. Just kind of what's the 2 steps you need to take, right, to get to that lane, and boom.
I'm going to argue that real quick. I would say that Tom was better at just getting rid of the ball, right? Like he always knew the problem. He always knew the issue. So the ball was gone. Or and if not, and if you patted it, it was a set. Aaron is more about, I like to dance around. I can be comfortable and still do the 2-step. But Jay's right. The minute that Runyon knocks this dude on his ass, it opens up a whole new lane where it looks like Aaron puts his foot in the ground and says, wait a minute, there he is. I see him now, right there. He's like, I see him. And now he makes that throw, which is a phenomenal knockdown. And then Myers just goes to finish him off.
Because if Jones here, if 93 pushes this pocket here, like Aaron probably has to escape out the backside. But because he was able to finish him in the middle there, it allows him to step up and really put some on that throw. And one-on-one Christian Watson against the safety, that's an all-day throw.
In the sun, too. You saw the sun in his face. God, could he do it all?
Yeah, that's another thing. People we don't think about that stuff, but that's got to be kind of hard, right? You're a receiver, you got the sun coming
in
through.
Dallas, when the sun's coming through those windows in Dallas, it is awful. Awful. You can't see anything.
No. Sun's right in your eyes. I used to be at Lucas Oil Stadium, too.
Yeah.
The sun in your eyes. You're like, where's the mic? God damn it. Where is he?
Got to put the rec specs on.
Oh, used to try and hide the visors. Take that off, 75.
I don't want to.
I don't want to take it off.
All right, let's go to
here we
Lambeau
go.
Field here.
Empty
This is
formation.
Let's go to the old
late in the
crusty.
season.
Look at him.
All right, so
I
this
don't
is
know if I- hey, by
the
way,
Packers
can
are
we
ready
just
to
talk
dagger the
real
Vikings
quick,
here.
Real quick, can we talk about how it's going to look so different seeing him in a different jersey? I just don't know how I feel about all this, guys.
It's the same. It's the same way. It's the same way I felt when Tom left New England.
It broke my heart. Broke my heart, man. Broke my heart.
I mean, I honestly it's
one
gonna
team,
be,
one cause. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think everyone was ready for Aaron to leave, including the Packers.
Yeah, it felt like it just felt like a marriage that needed to, like, the kids have graduated. We just don't really like each other.
You guys are
We don't
so
love each other
negative.
anymore.
You're so negative. You can't even just keep true love. You can't.
No.
Terrible.
So Packers trying to dagger the Vikings here.
Here we go, boys.
They
there
do.
he is, dancing around, doing the 2-step. Jesus.
Dude, it's the
I'll
same
just throw it to the
thing.
guy that's completely open.
Go back.
Who's that, Tunyon?
Yeah, of course. All right, so
His
first of all,
favorites.
Aaron Rodgers, you let Aaron Rodgers get in an empty formation. Like, the defense is completely balanced right now because they can't hide anything because they're in empty, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's step number one, right? So Aaron can see the entire field. He knows exactly where his one-on-one matchups are going to be. This is a very similar route concept that they ran just 2 plays ago, Mackey. The difference was they had Christian Watson on the inside. This time they have him on the far side and Tunyon, right? They run 2 guys that cross both the man coverage, and then the safety then has to figure out, do I jump the crosser or do I go deep? And you can see Tunyon right there, like, he jumped the crosser.
Yeah.
He jumped the crosser. Right? No, I'm talking about the other safety, the far safety.
Oh, I got you.
Right?
Yeah,
They're playing deep halves here. Like, and so the other safety, they know that they're running 2 crossers here, right? So they run cross on the outside, and then they run a post with Robert Tunyon, and that safety jumps the cross,
See it?
and then it's over. It's like that backside safety has no chance of getting there. But it also just goes back to one of my biggest issues with the Vikings all year was, like, they just didn't pressure.
No.
Like, you got nothing on Rodgers right here. You let Rodgers stand back there, he's gonna find the open man. Like, it's not a secret. Oh, old Aaron.
Yeah, I feel like they went through a stretch maybe for like 2 or 3 weeks after the bye where they decided, all right, we're going to blitz more.
Go back.
And
they didn't
then
even
just
twist here. And that's another thing. Like, this is sometimes one of the biggest is like when you let a guy just stand back there because everyone's running in their rush lanes, dude, you're making it really easy for him, especially when while you think you have 2 premier defensive ends, Bakhtiari's out there. So we're not really that concerned anymore.
Such a nice route by Tunyon.
Dude.
Fakes the slant. He gets that guy to bite, and he just puts his hand up. And that. Oh.
Look at Runyon. Go back.
Watch
Oh,
Pat
you guys
P.
were watching
Go back.
the routes?
Go back. Watch Pat
Whatever.
P. Right at the end. He does the surrender cobra. You ready?
Let's see it.
I'll tell you when to pause it, Mackey. Get ready on the pause button.
Get ready.
Ready, and pause.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. You blew it. You blew it.
Doesn't even move. Just stuck there.
He just knows. He's sitting there. He sees Cam Bynum on Lazard, and he's like, "You're not supposed to be there. You're supposed to be back there intercepting this ball." Oh, brutal.
Oh, no.
It's a wrap. Look, a lot of sad Vikings fans in here too. You know, they got the little John Randall jersey up here.
How about the guy up here in front row, over here in the left? My guy, he's just over here like, what's
Adam
going
Thielen
on?
guy over here,
Yeah.
just
What's going-
sad Adam Thielen guy.
So yeah, I mean you can't let Rodgers sit back there. The
No.
times the Vikings had the most success against Rodgers, really the teams that
Pressure.
all pressure. You got him
Pressure,
off the spot.
right now.
You got
That's
him
how we
into
beat
his
him.
feet. That's how.
Yep.
I mean, that's how you beat him. And that's where I'll be curious to see in that division. You know, the Dolphins have a good line. Buffalo's getting Von Miller back. Like, you know, you have guys that are always seem to be average rushers, but they create great pressure in New England. Like, he's going to be tested a lot more in this division than he was in the NFC North.
Yeah. So let's just for a reminder here, let's just go back to see, just to contrast here. Let's go back to the way things were last year for the Jets here. Now, this is the first drive of the season, actually, and Joe Flacco in shotgun here on a 3rd and 5 here against the Ravens, and we'll just kind of roll this and see what life was like
Joe
last year.
Flacco's Boone's favorite player.
Stop it. Ruined my life.
Ball should be gone.
Oh, God. Oh,
right there. Right there. Ball gone.
No,
Oh,
that's bad.
fix
Oh,
it.
my God, don't do that. Are you?
Fix it, Jesus.
Fix it, jeez. Here we go. Go back. Let me see it.
First of all, left guard, help yourself here. Oh, my Lord.
Golly.
It's a lot to unpack here. A lot to
All right,
unpack.
here we go. It looks like
probably
we're
not
starting
all
out
on
like a
Flacco.
jam, right? Looks like a jam. Oh, no, it's an overload.
It's just a 4 down.
Yeah, 4 down.
They just
Shift
go
it out of
4
it.
down.
They keep shifting into everything. Calais is like, I'm not used to being on this side.
All
Here we
so
go.
They go 4 down here. The left guard gets beat across his face. But this is what we talk about. This
too
every
passive.
quarterback struggles with this, right?
Watch
Well,
his
first of all, it's
inside
an
foot.
overset. He drops his inside foot, which allows
Right
that soft
there.
shoulder, who he
Got
feels
him.
it right away, right? And now you just turn into a bull rush because you have nothing to fight with. The left tackle does the exact same thing. So
Yep.
Flacco tries to get back over here to his second read, right? Because first read's closed. But when you turn left and you have two
Hello.
purple jerseys, like, oh, hold on, a little bit further. Oh, hey there, guys. Oh, hey, 92.
Who are you?
Nice
How does
to
he not
see
feel
you.
that? That's when you know you're old. You don't even
Hell.
feel that pressure. You have to turn around.
And then he runs right
then
into
you run into
the right
Calais.
tackle has a great block going, right? The right tackle's like, oh, I'm loving this right now.
Actually, let's watch the right tackle rep here. This is a great rep for.
Yeah. Boom, sticks him with his left inside hand, pushes him back out. He's like, oh, I got him wide. He's outside the hash. This is perfect.
Wes?
Feeling great.
Hey, those were the worst sacks to give up because you were like, I
Oh.
did everything right.
Those are the ones that turn up on the stat sheet. The next day is like sack number 61, pressure number 78,
Yeah,
pressure.
does
it's like,
PFF
oh,
Does PFF give him a pressure allowed on this? That's what I
sack.
want.
He gets he gets either a sack or a hit. He probably gets a hit, a pressure, the whole bit.
That's got. I think this is
That's why
because
it's
they do
all
have self
nonsense,
pressures
dude.
for quarterbacks where you just run into pressure.
That's a self pressure
That's
right
a-
there.
that-
And
yeah,
you
that has to
threw-
be right.
You tried to
Well,
throw
it's a
the
pressure
ball.
from the left side, and then it's a
Back.
self
He
pressure.
tried to throw the ball. What was he doing? What are you doing?
Technically,
not
this
to
was
take
an
a stat.
incomplete pass, by the way, in the stat book.
Yeah, I told you. He threw the ball.
First of all, I think this is a broken route concept too. If you really look at it, like, and we can talk about Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson, but that whole offense last year, once Breece Hall got hurt, was just a disaster. Like those two guys over there are not really running routes on the top left. So like when he tries to come back over there's nothing open. Yeah, this is a bad play. But, again,
is that how, like, can Rodgers help with that too? Where if there's some like little gaps
Rodgers helps with that during practice because he doesn't allow it.
Right.
Oh,
he doesn't
absolutely
allow
not.
that to happen, right? That stuff doesn't bleed over into game day because if that stuff's happening during practice, he refuses to allow it to happen.
Yes.
Right? He kicks them out. He gets the young guys back, and he's like, fine, we're going to stay late. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Like, the stuff that bleeds over into game day is because when you have a young quarterback room, like you have Mike White, you have Zach Wilson, and then you have Joe Flacco, who's just kind of riding his coattails out at the end of the year of his career here, just collecting checks. Like, there's not a ton of guys holding accountable. But when you bring Aaron Rodgers in, and he walks in and he kicks the doors and he's like, I'm here to win a championship. Either come with me or get out of the way. That stuff doesn't fly in practice anymore. So
can't hide either.
It won't bleed over into games because it won't be allowed.
No.
All right, here's another one. This is the last one I have for you. So we're going to go back to, all right, Jets, this is what you have in store, ideally, right? This is the type of stuff that...
This could be you if
This could be
you pick
you.
the right door to open.
So another sort of, it's the middle of the season. They'd lost like 4 or 5 games in a row. It's a prime slot game. I think it was a Fox game in that 3:00 standalone, and they're down by 2 touchdowns at home in the fourth quarter to the Cowboys, facing a 4th and 7. So it's another one of those where like, well, if you don't convert this, game's probably over. Let's see what Rodgers has in store here.
Here we go, baby.
They
Did he throw the
pressure him.
check down?
They
Did he
pressure-
throw the check down? Did he throw the check down? Let me see. Did he throw it? No? Okay, cool. He didn't.
Christian Watson again.
Oh, he threw a tud?
Dude, just hunting down the field.
He threw a tud? Okay.
First of all, they decide to pressure Rodgers, which is if you pressure Rodgers, no, they don't pressure him. They bail out
they
of it,
don't.
right?
You were exactly right. If you don't pressure him,
If you
you're
don't
going to
pressure
be
him,
sorry.
You're gonna get in trouble, man.
Make him move his feet more than he wants to move them. But at the same time, this is a double Cali look, could be a double barrel look. It gets called a lot of things, but 2 linebackers walked up in the A-gaps. Simple 6-man protection. Where's my man, though? Micah. We know what we're looking for. Oh, there he is. He's over the right
So they're
tackle.
on the right tackle.
Oh, yeah, you know he is. Look at him. He's definitely not on the left side because that guy's built to work. That's right. I'm
So
talking
they
about
send a
Bakhtiari.
4-man.
Here we go. Sliding right. We're going Ricky.
Good punch.
Try
on
to
the
get a
right
twist,
tackle.
but the twist gets kind of mashed up because look how the running back goes in there and totally just messes up everything, which once again creates a great and
Runyon. Look,
I'm not
watch,
saying that-
watch Runyon here. Runyon's like, okay, he goes inside. He's like, okay, where's 11? Where's 11? Watch as this play goes on.
Go ahead,
He's literally ends up looking at Rodgers directly in his eyeballs. He's trying to find Micah Parsons. and
you're
he
gonna
just-
find see right there.
hi Aaron.
Hey, I've done
buddy.
that before. It is
It's
so
not-
awkward.
It's such an unsettling feeling.
So awkward.
when
I
you
did
turn
it in
around
Seattle.
and you're like,
oh.
you're staring your quarterback dead in his eyes, you're like, that's not where I want to be. And then
Don't
you
look at him. He
panic.
tries to pull
You
back.
panic.
He's
You
like,
don't know
"No."
what to do.
You
don't
just
know
hit
what
the deck
to do.
here, create a throwing lane.
You don't know what to do. You're like, I'm
Don't
in the
move.
way. I'm
Don't
just gonna
move.
freeze. Watch. I bet you just freezes like a statue.
He does.
Just let it play. Just play.
12
Play it out.
is moving. Don't move.
Watch. Just play.
Oh, yeah.
I told you. Get the hell out of his way, right? 12's moving. Move now. Move
He
now.
does the old
This
Matrix.
is a Matrix
He
move.
does the
Whoa.
Matrix move,
Hey, and he looks down the field too. Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Yeah,
That
that's
is
a very.
one of
But
those-
he's so worried about Micah
Seriously.
Parsons that he literally does a Matrix move because he's
Hey,
staring
shout
directly in the
out.
air.
Shout out to the Packers O-line. I know we haven't done this yet, but I would easily rank them in my top 5 of O-lines in the NFL. And I know we'll have to eventually, before the season starts, rank our O-lines and then like go on with it. But this unit plays so well, and a lot of it is because 12's back there. And the expectations are extremely real. And they're always in your face, and it's never blanketed. If you ever get him hit, your ass is grass. Let's
I mean,
keep it
they
real.
also had guys rotate in so much last year. That's
They're
the thing,
good
like,
at that, though.
They're able to fill guys in, and that's part of the 12. I mean, it's part of why Tom Brady got guys paid.
Mm-hmm.
Part of why Aaron Rodgers is getting guys paid. Like, because when you play with an elite quarterback who gets the ball out on time and puts the ball where it needs to be, like Nate Soldier wasn't a top O tackle when he left and he went to the Giants and got paid top money and lasted like 2 years.
Yep.
See, I'm glad you guys brought this up because I've always kind of wondered. I've had just kind of a harebrained theory from where I sit that it feels like there was a couple seasons where Peyton Manning was sacked like 10 times all year, right? Or 12 times. And obviously the Colts had some really good offensive lines back in the day. Jeff Saturday, they had some good lines. But I've always thought there's something about great quarterbacks, whether it's in the actual game, getting the ball out on time, all those things you just said, or maybe it's throughout the week, just like the way they're communicating with guys about certain looks and stuff. How much do great quarterbacks elevate offense? It's always talked about the other way, right? Like, like in Minnesota, it's if Kirk only had a great offensive line, but like how much of it is the other way around?
That's a great question. It's Tom Brady's the perfect example. If you're smart enough and you know exactly where the ball's supposed to go and you demand that level of like intensity, there are never any problems. It used to be for Tom, catch ball, turn, throw ball, or catch, hitch, throw. It was always on time. It was always a timing thing. So with the old line, it's basically like, hey, listen, let's just make sure we're inside out the entire time. And as long as we give him at least, there would be conversations with a good quarterback like, hey, if we can just give this guy like 4 seconds, the ball's fucking gone. Let's just stay inside out. And as long as they stick to the script, everything goes smooth. Sometimes it goes off script when they start getting hit and they're like, hey man, I'm starting to get a little panicked in here. And all of a sudden the 2-second throw becomes a 4-second throw, or things become delayed, or guys start to run around. But a great quarterback like Carson Palmer, I think of him, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers. I bet you they've gotten more guys paid than any coach could do for anybody. Because number one, it's like Jay said, they turn on the film and they're like, man, this guy is never getting hit. Let's go look at their O-lines. When are they up for free agents? Like, what are these guys doing that's so good? And then a lot of that is when you get to a new team, it's what were you guys doing? The coaches pull you in a room and go, what were you guys doing that you were so good? How did you make things work? If this came up, what would you do? And all of a sudden you're starting to rub your knowledge off on them and they're like, we should try some of that. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, a lot of it, you're telling them, a lot of it was the quarterback was ready. I mean, he knew when the blitzes were coming, and as soon as it came, the ball was out. So we didn't really have to do much. Things get tricky in third down, but other than that, like, dude, we were good. And so people like that.
And when you have good quarterbacks, you're a winning team. And in free agency, you'll see it. The guys that are on winning teams always get paid more, right? Like they always want to bring guys that know how to win in this league to, especially teams that haven't won in a while, right? Like, hey, bring the winners on this team so they can teach our young guys what it means to work and practice and win and how to do things right. So that all plays into it. But like you think of guys like, Shaq Mason, right? He was an All-Pro, goes down to Tampa with Tom, still an All-Pro. I'll be curious to see what he looks like now at Houston with a rookie quarterback, right? Like there's certain O linemen you follow around the league that like when they're with great quarterbacks, they're awesome. But all of a sudden they get put with a rookie quarterback or whatever it may be, and it just takes a little bit of time for them to figure it out. I've always thought that the greatest O lineman, like Joe Thomas, had 100 quarterbacks or whatever it was in his time.
Still played great the entire time.
Right? Like I think of like Lermy Tunsil. He's been down in Houston, right? Like he's had a bunch of different quarterbacks, still one of the best to do it in the game right now, right? Andrew Thomas, Dwayne Brown, like some of these guys that have been on bad football teams but are incredible alignment, those are the dudes that I revere sometimes more than the guys that have been all pros with the all-world quarterbacks because they have to work so much harder.
Right. Yeah. And that's one thing that people don't understand is that we might respect a player a lot more because we're like, dude, we know your quarterback's a mess. We know that ball's not getting out on time, and we know he's probably not even getting to a second read, but you're still out there fighting your ass off. Like, that's something that you know in the meetings is you're like, this is hard. Especially, too, when your quarterback doesn't know where to go with the ball and he can't run, that becomes a real problem. Like, you're like, this is just gravel yard back here, boys. We're rolling back all day. Let's just keep it going somehow. Can we just run the ball? No, 2 minute and a half time. Got it. All right, cool. I had nothing to do later.
So maybe finally, God, the Jets have just been in quarterback purgatory for so long. Maybe finally some of this
Here
stuff,
we go.
at least for a year. And I can tell you, like having covered that 2009 Vikings team where you got the one last year of Favre. Now let's ignore the end of that season where he threw across his body and ended the season.
Oh, the Cardinals said never do it.
There might be a magic carpet ride.
They have that game live. Were you watching that game? I was.
Which one?
I know, Mackey, I know you were probably watching that game.
Oh, God, dude, I was headed to go cover that Super Bowl in Miami. I was devastated.
Well, Jay, did you watch it?
Oh, yeah.
I was watching it live, and he threw it, and I was like, the one time I had a really bad feeling. I was like, man, never throw across your body, ever.
Just run forward for 5 yards and let Longwell send you to the Super Bowl, man.
Yep. I'll end with this. The Jets have lightning in a bottle. They know it, right? They have young players that are really performing well on rookie contracts. They've got an all-star defense right now. They are the Vikings of 2017, right? They feel like they are one piece away from being a Super Bowl contender. They sold the farm to get Rodgers, and they know they have 2 years before this whole thing has to blow up. So they have to win it in the next 2 years with Aaron, or all of this was for nothing, and we'll see. I mean, as a wise man once said, we'll see.
All right, can I get just for the Jets fans out there? I've never done this before, so I'd love to end with a JETS. Are you guys ready? All right, here we go. Ready?
I will not.
Come on.
I will not. I never played for the Jets.
Jets.
Suck.
Jets.
That's the one you usually hear the most. That's usually the one you hear out of those the most. That's what I can remember hearing when I played at their JETS. Suck. With the bags over their heads with the firefighters.
Yeah, you're right. We were back with long Rex Ryan days.
Oh yeah.
All right, if they get to the Super Bowl, then I'm gonna twist your guys' arms.
If they go to
again.
the Super Bowl, hey, if they go to the playoffs, I'll do one with you, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay, sounds good.
By
That's
the way,
fair. That's fair.
Can we just say that for a team that comes from a really harsh media city, they've gotten some really serious characters through those doors. They've done it to themselves. Like that head coach, I mean, come on now. There was a lot of dudes in there that just probably.
I mean, Rex Ryan talking about his. That's
what I'm saying. Like you're doing it to yourself.
The foot fetish thing, you know. I mean, come on. Yeah. Anyhow, if you guys could click the like button and the subscribe button on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel to help spread the word. We just launched this thing a couple months ago. We're pumped for the season. Training camps are starting here, and this is a football from a trenches perspective podcast that you guys should hopefully enjoy as we keep going here. So we'll see you guys next time.